You already know what you want to have. You know that you want to have the successful business. You know that you want to have the health. You want to have the great relationships. You want to have the confidence. You want to have the productivity. You know that you want to have the success. You already know what you want to have. You probably already know what you have to do in order to get it done. You know that you have to wake up at 5 a.m. in order to work out. You know that you have to stop going through that man's phone. You know that you have to start investing. You know that you have to eat clean, nutritious meals. So the problem isn't that you don't know what you want or that you don't know what you have to do. The problem is that you haven't become the person that can actually do what you have to do to get what you want. And you haven't become that person because you've probably tried before in the past and you failed. And because you failed, you told yourself who you aren't. So you tried to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning and you failed. And you told yourself, I'm not a morning person. Or you tried to be in a healthy relationship and that person did not treat you right. Actually, they treated you horribly. And you told yourself, I'm not worthy of love. So you're allowing your past experiences to tell you who you are right now and who you will be in the future. Welcome to this video. If you're new here, I hope you stick around. I hope you join the community. If you are returning, welcome back. I'm glad you came back. In this video, I'm going to be explaining how to become anybody you want to be in the next 6 months. Because I have noticed, and I don't know about you, but I've noticed there's just a rise of all the videos on errors. My soft girl error, exiting my lazy girl error, entering my productive girl error. It's just so much content on identity basically. And what I've realized watching most of these videos is that a lot of them, they have really great tips and I watch it like, oh, that's a really great tip. But still there's some type of resistance within me, and that resistance is because I know deep down inside I'm not willing to get up and do any of what they said. So I made this video for the people that are watching all these videos, but you still don't get up and do it. And the reason why you don't get up and do it is because you haven't become the version of yourself that can actually do what they're suggesting in these videos. This video is for you. If you know that you've been watching all this content, or if you know that you are guilty of just consuming a whole lot of self-help stuff, self-development stuff, personal growth things, content, books, anything like that, and you're guilty of not actually applying anything that you learned because you have not become the version of yourself that can do it. So this video is for you. I'm going to explain how to become anybody you want in the next 6 months so that you're not always watching and not applying. So let's get right into it. The first thing that I'm going to say, this is like a prerequisite before all the other steps that I'm going to give you, is that you have to actually be willing to change. Because a lot of times we want something, but we're not actually willing to put the work in to do it. We're not actually willing to change. And that admitting that is the first step. So you have to be willing. You have to be willing. Otherwise, you're just watching it for entertainment. It's not actually going to help you in any way, shape, or form. Like maybe you're telling yourself that it's better for me to watch this because it's more intentional. It has to do with personal growth. It has to do with personal development. But if you're not actually going to apply any of what you're learning in these videos, then it's simply a distraction at this point. It's not you being intentional. It's you just being distracted. So you have to decide that you are willing to change. If you're not willing to change, then none of what anyone says to you is going to matter. So that is the prerequisite before we even get to the steps. So now let's get to the steps. Step 1 is to get clear on what you want. So you have to get really clear on what it is that you want. Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to get married? Do you want to be less insecure? Do you want to be more confident? Do you want to be more productive? Do you want to be more organized? Do you want to change careers? Like, what do you want? Get really clear on what you want. Because if you're not clear about what you actually want, then you could end up anywhere. You have to have a destination, an end goal in mind. It's like getting behind the wheel of a car. If you don't put a destination in your GPS, or if you don't have a destination in mind, then you'll end up anywhere. You'll just drive off in any direction and who knows where you'll end up. So you have to get really clear on what it is that you want. Now, step 2 is get clear on what you have to do to get what you want. And again, I mentioned at the beginning of this video, most of the time we know what we have to do. We already know what we have to do. We know that, okay, if I want to be healthier, I have to watch my calories. I have to watch my carbs. I have to drink more water. I have to move my body for at least 20 minutes a day. I have to get my steps in. Like, you know what you have to do in order to be healthy. We already know what we have to do in order to be healthier. Maybe I have to take vitamins if I'm lacking in them. I need to go to the doctor. We know what we have to do. If you want to run a successful business, we know that we have to get our business plan in place. Even if we don't write it down, just have some general idea of what business I'm in, who my customer, my target customer would be. Who do I want to attract to my business? What do I want to sell? Do I need a website? Do I need to hire a team? Do I need a location? Or can I do this from home? If you want to be more confident, if you want to stop being insecure, there's a good chance you know what you have to do. You have to stop going through that man's phone. You have to stop clocking him every second of the day. We have to stop comparing ourselves to other people. We have to stop just going out of our way to be jealous. Like, just going out of our way, scrolling social media, looking at people that you feel like are better than you, and then comparing yourself and picking yourself apart. Like, we already know what we have to do in order to get what we want. The third step, this is the one that we all get stuck on, most of us. When it comes to actually achieving our goals, getting what we want out of life, number 3, this is the one that we all have the hardest time with, in my opinion. And that is, you have to get clear on who you have to be. And you have to actually be willing to become that person. So if you want to stop being so insecure and you want to be more confident, you have to be willing. You have to be willing to be a confident person. Like, you have to look at a confident person and ask yourself, how are they being? How are they being internally? Look at Rihanna, for example. Her being. She seems like a confident person. How is she being? How does she show up in the world? Is she showing up in the world with her shoulders slouched, all, like nervous and like she don't belong in the room? Or does she show up with her head held high, with grace, knowing who she is and that she adds value? Like, the being of it. Are you willing to be that? Are you willing to have that energy? Because if not, you're not going to do the steps. If you're not willing to embody that and be it, then you're not going to do the steps. Now, if you want to have a successful business, you know all the things that you need to do, but are you willing to be that person? Are you willing to have that person's energy? That energy is high. That energy is inspiring. That energy is motivated. It don't even have to be all the time, just enough to get going throughout the day. That energy is positive. You have to be it. It has to be in your being, to where even when things aren't going right, internally I'm still good. Internally I still believe in this. Internally I still have the energy to do the things that I know I need to do in order to be successful, in order to successfully run my business. Like, it has to be you. This is how you be it. So the first step to being the person, all of this is about making an identity shift. If it's not a part of your identity, you're not going to behave that way. If you don't have being a successful business owner as a part of your identity, then you're not going to behave that way. If you don't have confidence as a part of your identity, then you're not going to behave that way. If you don't have productivity as a part of your identity, then you're not going to behave that way. How you see yourself is how you behave. So you have to change the way that you see yourself. So step number 4 is about changing the way you see yourself. Step number 4, you imagine yourself doing the thing that you want to do, being the person that you want to be, having the things that you want to have. You have to use your imagination. You have to visualize whatever it is that you want. Visualize yourself being, doing, having, all those things. So if you want to be confident, you want to have confidence, you want to show up as a confident person, imagine yourself being, doing, and having confidence, being someone confident. You have to imagine what it would be like if you were a confident person. If you showed up in the room with confidence, you have to imagine some scenario and you have to feel all the emotions of that scenario. So maybe you want to have confidence. Something that you imagine is walking into a room with people that you never met before, with your head high, ready to speak to anybody in that room that wants to speak to you. Not only that, just going out of your way to speak to people, introducing yourself to people that you've never met before, shaking their hand, feeling all the emotions of confidence, knowing that you're adding value to the room, knowing that you're supposed to be there, knowing that they probably are as interested in you as you're interested in them. And they're not thinking about whether or not you're going to mess up right now or whether or not you're going to say something stupid. Like, just put yourself in your mind in scenarios where you can be confident. So imagine scenarios where you're confident. Maybe your problem is that you're insecure because you were in a relationship where you didn't feel valued. Imagine yourself being in a relationship where you feel confident enough to not have to go through someone's phone, to not have to question someone about where they are all the time, to not have to be jealous about any type of interaction that your man has with the woman. Imagine feeling valued. Imagine feeling good enough. Imagine feeling like you don't have to compete. Imagine feeling like you are loved. Imagine feeling like you are worthy. Like, imagine yourself in that scenario and feel all the feelings of that. Try to imagine what that energy would be like. Like, what does it feel like to just feel that sure of yourself, to know who you are, to know what you bring to the table, to know how much you're loved, to know how much you appreciate it. Like, imagine that scenario, to be in a relationship and just feel really good about yourself and who you are. So imagine it. Whatever scenario that you want to imagine. It could be the networking event scenario. It could be being in a relationship and just someone taking you out on a date and you just feeling very sure of yourself, very confident, very grateful to be who you are and not want to be anybody else, not feel like you need to compete with anybody else, not feel like anybody can compete with you. Like, just be grateful for your uniqueness. Be grateful that you are who you are and that God made you exactly the way you're supposed to be. So step number 4 is to imagine. Imagine doing the thing that you want to do. If you don't want to be a procrastinator anymore, imagine yourself being productive. Imagine yourself showing up, doing things ahead of time. Imagine maybe it's a project and you take the lead on it and you do X, Y, and Z perfectly and everybody's just so happy with the outcome. So just think of a scenario in your mind and imagine it. Use your imagination for this part. I promise you, this step is probably the most important step. Step number 5 is that you need to strip yourself of all of the beliefs that don't align with who it is that you have to become. You do this by raising your awareness. You have to start listening to the conversation that's going on in your head, listening to your self-talk. Because if you don't change your thoughts, then you won't change you. Your thoughts are what shape your identity. Well, everything that you're telling yourself, the story that replays in your head, that is what controls your behavior. That's what controls what you think you can do and how you show up in the world. So you have to change these thoughts. Thoughts that run on autopilot, that don't align with your new identity, they have to go. You have to start putting those thoughts in check. But that again requires raising your self-awareness, listening to the conversation in your head, looking out for these thoughts that, okay, I want to be productive. I want to stop procrastinating. The thoughts that come up and tell me, oh, you could do that later. I need to start putting those in check. No, I'm not going to do that later. I'm going to do that now. Also, the beliefs that I can do this later, or it's not that big of a deal, or things aren't going to work out, or I'm thinking about my past experience and my past experiences are telling me that I can't do this. It didn't work out in the past, so now I can't do it in the future. Look out for all of those beliefs that are keeping you from becoming who it is that you want to become, all those thoughts. And you have to start stripping them away one at a time. Stripping them away, because if you don't, again, your thoughts control your behaviors. Your beliefs shape your experience and reality. So making sure that you are tackling those beliefs, putting them in check, stripping them away, one belief, one thought at a time, is a requirement. It's just non-negotiable. But you have to do that by raising your self-awareness. You have to start listening to the conversation that is replaying in your head. How do you do that? It honestly just takes being intentional. It takes making sure you're telling yourself, oh, I need to listen to myself today. I need to listen to myself today. I haven't tried meditation as far as like trying to listen to these thoughts, because I don't know. I'm just not the best at that. When I meditate, I do it differently. So I don't really know, but maybe try meditating, just sitting quietly, listening to the thoughts, whatever thoughts pop in your head, and just exploring the ones that you feel like are worth exploring. But yes, you have to strip yourself of all the beliefs that don't align with this new identity, with who it is that you're trying to become. Journaling is another great way to uncover the beliefs that you need to strip away. You can do this one of two ways. You can either buy a guided journal, or you can search online for journal prompts that have to do with self-discovery, that have to do with shadow work, that have to do with figuring out who you are and just exploring yourself. So all you have to do is just Google free journal prompts and you'll find a lot of them. So step 5 is to intentionally plant the beliefs that are going to help you become who you want to become. When I say intentionally plant, that's exactly what I mean. You literally have to write down beliefs that you want to recite and repeat to yourself throughout the day. So maybe you want to stop being insecure. You want to be more confident. One of the beliefs that you can intentionally plant is, I am worthy of love and respect. You just constantly tell yourself that throughout the day. Yes, this is like affirmations, but the difference is I want you to make sure that what you're writing down is stuff that you can actually, get behind. Because the problem with affirmations is sometimes we be writing stuff that we don't even believe. We be writing down like, I am so wealthy. It's hard to believe that you're wealthy when you are behind on your car payment, when you are behind on your mortgage. It's just hard to believe things that are just too far from your actual current experience in reality. So make sure you're writing down things that are actually believable and plant those new beliefs inside of your mind every single day by repeating it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So literally take a piece of paper, write down the beliefs that you want to start repeating to yourself every day, and make sure that these are things that you can actually get behind. These are things that are actually believable. Okay? And step 6, I think I lost count. Step 6, possibly, is to start consuming content that relates to all things, whatever it is that you want. So if you want to be more confident, start listening to more things that have to do with building confidence. Consume content that will boost your confidence. Look at motivational videos that will make you feel good about yourself and will make you feel like you can do whatever it is that you put your mind to. Look at, if you want to be more confident because right now you're insecure, look at videos that have to do with self-love, and it has to do with self-worth, and that have to do with self-esteem. Go crazy on consuming content that will actually help you become who it is that you want to be. If you want to become a successful business owner, you want to own a successful business, go crazy on content that's going to help you own that successful business, be that successful business owner. Go crazy on content that's going to help you with marketing, with promoting, with making sales. When it comes to just consuming content, I want you to consume content that's going to help you become who you want to be, because it relates to who you want to be. Sometimes we consume content that moves the needle further away from where it is that we're trying to go. Like maybe we want to be confident and we don't want to be insecure, but we're listening to heartbreak music about how you're getting cheated on and how your man did this to you, and how men ain't no good, etc., etc. Or you want to be a successful business owner, but you're scrolling social media looking at gossip and tea pages all day, instead of actually looking at the people that are going to help you run and grow that successful business. So step 6 is to consume content that has to do with who it is that you're trying to become and what it is that you want to have. And consume only that. Consume only that for as long as you can. Step 7 is to intentionally set up your environment to support you. So maybe you want to lose weight. Intentionally set up your environment to support you by making sure that your pantry is fully stocked with all things healthy. Making sure that you have a meal plan posted somewhere. Making sure that you have a water bottle somewhere, or you buy a tumbler and you fill it up with water. Making sure that when you want to go to the gym, your gym clothes are set up maybe in the car or laid out on your bed so there's no excuses. Intentionally set up your environment to support you. If you want to be more confident, if you want to stop being insecure, but there are people in your life that are making you feel insecure because they belittle you and they put you down, within reason, if it's possible, intentionally setting up your environment to support you might look like cutting some of those people off, or if you can't cut them off completely, spending less and less time with them. So set up your environment to support you. If your environment is not supporting you, then it's hard to become who you want to become, because you're making it hard on yourself by being in bad environments. So that's step number 7. Step number 8 is to intentionally set up your schedule to support you. Your schedule has to align with who it is that you want to become. So if you want to become a successful business owner, there should be some things in your schedule that'll help you get that done. If you want to be more confident, there should be some things in your schedule to help you get that done. If you want to stop procrastinating, there should be some things in your schedule to help you get that done. You have to intentionally set up your schedule to support you so that you know what you need to be doing in order to actually be the person that you're trying to become, live the life you're trying to live, have the things you're trying to have. So if you want to be more confident, or you want to stop being as insecure, intentionally setting up your schedule to support you would look like creating the schedule that someone that's confident would have. What schedule would someone who is confident have? Would you be taking certain classes? Would you be going to certain gyms? Would you be attending certain events? Would you be reading certain books? Would you be practicing certain self-care routines? You have to set up your schedule to support you. It has to look like the schedule of a confident person. If you want to be a businesswoman, you have to set up your schedule to support you. Your schedule has to look like that of a business person. If you want to be more disciplined, you have to set up your schedule to support you, which means that time blocking needs to be your best friend. If you want to be more disciplined, that means that you probably have to write out everything that you want to do and really, really stick to the time that you said that you were going to do it. You have to set up your schedule to support you. If you're not setting up your schedule to support you, then you're not going to be being what it is that you're supposed to be being, because you're not going to be doing what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Set up your schedule to support you. All right, the next tip, because I have definitely lost track, is to take small, consistent action every day. Don't overwhelm yourself with like really, really big tasks. Small, consistent action every day is the way to go. Because if you're putting too much in your plate and then you can't accomplish all of the things that you put on your plate, you're going to lose confidence in what you can do because you set yourself up for failure in the first place. So small, consistent tasks. If you're consistent, those small actions will add up to a big outcome over time. Small, consistent tasks over time. That's all you have to commit to. Don't put too much on your plate, because again, you're going to just quickly disappoint yourself, and you're going to be right back off to where you started, where I can't do it. My past experience has showed me that I can't do it, so this is not who I can be. Small, consistent action. Okay, if you want to be less insecure, if you want to be less insecure, then maybe the small, consistent action that you take. Maybe your problem is you always scroll your phone and you compare yourself to people. Small, consistent action that you can take is maybe you don't know how to stop scrolling for like every day. Maybe you'll just set a time limit on your phone for 30 minutes. Or a small, consistent action that you could take if you want to be a business owner is maybe you can't post every day, but you can engage with someone every day. Or maybe you can't post a post, but you can post one reel every day. Or maybe you can't post a reel every day, but you can go out and record some type of content every day. Like, how can you show up in a small, consistent way every day? You just have to figure that out. The next tip is to ignore instant gratification. because you're going to have this desire to see immediate results immediately. You have to ignore that and realize that good things take time. Good things take time. And the trick that I like to use is I like to go back to using my imagination and just imagining the best case scenario and getting all pumped up and motivated, and just using that fuel for my imagination to give me the energy to just keep going no matter what the results is that I actually physically see. So maybe the business results that I want don't come instantly. I use my imagination to imagine what it is that I actually want, and I allow that to be my motivation. Maybe I'm not immediately as confident as I want to be. I use my imagination to remember who it is that I'm trying to become, and I allow that to be the fuel that keeps me going. Maybe I didn't lose the 10 or 20 pounds that I wanted to yet, but I use my imagination to imagine me losing that weight, and I use that as motivation and fuel to keep going. And the last tip, I think this is number 12, is to reset daily. All those past experiences, any past failures, you just have to forget about them. You have to forget about them, because if not, you're going to continue to allow them to dictate your future. And then you're going to continue to allow them to tell you who you are and what you can't do. And based on that, you're not going to do the things that you need to do to be who you want to be, to have what you want to have. So you can't allow your past experiences to follow you in the future, especially when you've made a lot of mistakes. Every day, what you did before is irrelevant. Today is a fresh start with new grace, and you're just going to do the best that you can today. Don't worry about what you didn't do yesterday. Don't worry about what you didn't get done yesterday. Don't worry about how you felt yesterday. Today is a new day. From the past two, it doesn't even matter. It's gone. Nothing you can do about it. The future, you can do something about the next hour. You can do something about the next day. You can do something about the next week. You can't do anything about what happened. But right now, you can do something about that. So focus on that. Reset daily. Don't allow your past experience to dictate your future. Okay. I really hope this helped. I tried to make this short, but golly, I know it's long. Thank you so much for sticking up to this point. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm going to put a program around here. It's called the Reinvent Yourself Accelerator. All these steps, how to make an identity shift and how to reinvent yourself, I put it all in this program. And I'm going to show you how to become anybody that you want to be in the next 6 months with that program. Again, thank you so much for watching.